Good morning out there. Welcome to Ignite Purpose Television. My name is Christina Foxwell, and I'm really excited to spend some time with you today. As you can see, my hair's all over the shop. It just feels like one of those days. It's raining in Sydney. But here's what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about worthiness today. Why? Well, this morning, as I was driving to pick my daughter up, I was reflecting on a podcast conversation I had with my dad at the age of 81, 5 months before he passed away. And we were talking about worthiness, and I was absolutely blown away by his own reflection that when we're no longer needed, maybe we're not worthy. So I wanted to talk to you about this today because worthiness comes into play a lot when I'm seeing my coaching clients and we're looking at how to unlock someone's potential, or we're really trying to see how we get you to actually live your life to the fullest capacity. And sometimes our need for worthiness, and we don't even recognize it, has been connected to different parts in our life versus being connected to ourselves. So I thought I'd start with definitions because at the moment, I'm absolutely enjoying definitions. What is worthiness? So I'm going to read this to you. It's the quality of being good enough or suitable, or the quality of deserving respect or attention. Boom. This is the key. We want to get connected with people, and we want to feel good enough when we're with them. The challenge is we're looking for our good enough measure in the exchange we're having with somebody or in how somebody is treating us. But we're not remembering that the good enough measure has to come from inside. I used to think that I had to prove I was good enough, and I had to prove I could take care of my children, and I could have a good career, and I could do everything. So my worthiness was really rolled up in my career and my ability to achieve results. When I had to move careers or when I changed careers, I suddenly went through this awful feeling that I no longer was good enough. Please tell me I'm not the only one out there. All right, so let's rewire this. If I am always racing to feel good enough, I could actually overcompensate some of the things that I might be doing. And I'm going to give you this thought. Brene Brown talks about worthiness is this. Owning your worthiness is the act of acknowledging that you are sacred. And then I went and had a look. Let's just define sacred. Deserving. So here's a thought, right? If I'm always looking for my point of deserving and deep love and acceptance from others, or from my job, or from the results I achieve, or from other people telling me I'm good enough, or from recognition, or maybe from somebody else loving us, we will miss the opportunity to connect deeply with who we are. See, this is what happens if I'm always proving and I'm on this hamster wheel of life. And I used to say this to my husband. I used to say, Johnny, I'm just going to jump on that hamster wheel and go and make things work. What I didn't recognize at that stage was I was trying to run towards feeling good enough. And this is the challenge, right? If I'm running towards feeling good enough, I'm no longer present. I can't see anyone. Hello, Janet. Good to see you out there in the US. And, we're constantly striving for that invisible line of acceptance. I mean, come on. Like if I'm always working towards being accepted, that means I never actually enjoy being in this moment. And then somebody else needs to reinforce my feeling of being good enough. And when they don't, suddenly I'm wrestling with them for my worthiness. How about this? We hitch our worthiness to a result. Oh, that was a good show, or that was a good session, or wow, I've achieved something great today, so that must mean that I'm good enough. I'm going to challenge you with this thought. You're good enough anyway. Those are just outcomes of how you've shown up today. But your measure of worth is absolutely not wound up in somebody else or in your work. You have to find that self-worth in yourself. So here's the question. How do you get off this hamster wheel that you've trained yourself to run on? Well, you're the only one who can get off. That's where I've got to start. No one else is going to take you off. Life might fling you off, but you'll get back on the wheel because you'll feel that's where your worthiness lies. You have to start a deep relationship with yourself. When I heard this the first time, I was like, no way, I'm not doing that. That is weird. That means I'm not humble, because I grew up with in a society where I needed to prove I was humble and not egocentric. But humility and worthiness are not connected that way. See, we need self-love. If I can't recognize who I am and that deep inside of me, that person is worthy of love and belonging, I will always look for that in somebody else, which means I will always wrestle for my good enough measure versus sit peacefully and recognize that I am good enough. I am worthy of love. So I've got to realize my worthiness lies in me. My worthiness is never negotiable. Never, ever, ever am I going to negotiate my good enough measure with you. When I learn to love myself and be proud of who I am, even though I'm imperfect, I can start living my full potential. And how about this? Imagine if you could count on yourself and learn to forgive yourself when you're imperfect. Imagine if you can have this wonderful relationship with who you are. It's the only way. It's the only way. So this is me. Are you ready to rewire your worthiness? I've loved spending time with you. Janet, it feels like we're back in your studio. Thank you for being live with me today. I'd love you to tune into the channel. I'd love you to stay connected. And I'd love you to remember that only you can set the bar of your worthiness. And your worthiness is not tomorrow. It is in this very moment. Have a super, super day. I'll chat to you soon.